All right. Well,
Awesome.
good evening, everybody. Thank you for jumping on our Tuesday team call. Tonight, I'm really, really excited to have one of our senior golds jump on the call and just share a little bit of her story with us and what convention means to her. Because as you guys know, right now we are right in the middle of convention contest. It is February 7th. Convention contest started in January. It'll go through April, January, March, April. Go through April, and you have opportunities to earn some fabulous prizes leading up to Convention 2023 in Nashville, Tennessee. Kind of rhymes. I wonder if they planned that. I don't know. But just really, really convention. If you've never been to convention, like you have to go. Have to go. Find a way to make it happen. Talk to anybody that's been, and they will tell you just how much fun it is. And I'm so excited that Candice gets to share more. But I am just going to go ahead and jump into a little introduction with you guys. So I learned something new tonight. You guys all see, if you're on Facebook and in chat groups and stuff, you see all of our last names. And I found out that Candice's last name rhymes with alligator.
Yay!
Candice Schroeder, like an alligator. I did not know that. So in case you guys didn't know that, now you know. Yeah, rhymes with alligator. So she has actually been with Plexus since 2016, and some really fun information. She's going to share a lot more with you, but she moved overseas with her family to be missionaries in 2019, and she had her products shipped to her the entire time. So there is a way for us to do that. Let's see what else. Okay, the whole time that she was in the mission field, she had her Plexus there with her. And then Candice joined us in the business within the past year and is now a senior gold. And she is going to share how convention was a big turning point for her to start working the business very seriously. And she is also, this is really cool, she's also set up to graduate this month as a certified functional nutrition counselor. She loves the science behind our products. And so, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I think, Candice, that was, I don't know your whole story. I'm sure you're going to share some of it, but it was because of Plexus as to why you got even more passionate about that area of study. And so I think that that's really, really cool. And then as she shares, I will just be sharing some pictures that she shared with us. So Candice, I know that you have a lot to share with us. I am so, so excited that you're here. So why don't you go ahead and unmute yourself, and I will just, you tell me when you need me to show off your beautiful pictures.
Okay, awesome. All right, so I'm here. I'm super excited to share with you guys. I'm really grateful for the opportunity. Can everybody hear me? And one thing I'm worried about is I feel like my picture keeps glitching. I'm not sure why, but do I look okay to you guys?
I mean, your picture glitches with like other people's, which is interesting because that happened to Luann last week.
Yes,
So I don't
yeah.
know why it's doing that on different screens, but when we're sharing your pictures, you're just a little picture anyway. So
Oh, perfect. Okay,
but right now
great.
you look beautiful. So
Okay, thanks. Okay, so hi friends. So I'm super excited to get to share about my Plexus Convention testimony, but I wanted to start by going back a little bit and just sharing a bit of my personal backstory. So in 2009, my husband and I felt like the Lord was inviting us to go to the mission field full time and for a lifetime. And we'd heard lots of sermons on missions. We had read different missions books, and we were just convinced from the word. And we felt like, why not us? Like, if there are people dying all throughout the world without access to hearing the gospel, why not go there and live among them and learn their language and translate the Bible and teach them how to read and write and church plant and just like all the things. So it was our absolute passion. And we spent the next 10 years of our life fanning that spark into a huge flame. So we were encouraging other young college students to consider going to the mission field. We worked off all of our debt. We spent 4 years doing that because we wanted to be debt free before we went overseas. We got 4.5 years of missions training. So that was like Bible school, missions practical stuff, linguistics training, moving all throughout the US for different parts of our training. And then we spent the whole year of 2018 traveling all throughout the country, speaking at churches and small groups and people's homes to raise our financial support. So that was a 10-year journey of just trying to get to the mission field. So now we're all the way caught up to January 2019. Our family was finally ready to go. And so we said goodbye to everyone we knew and everyone we loved. Our kids said goodbye to grandparents. We got like all these vaccinations. We did all the things, all the practical things to move our family to this little country called Papua New Guinea, right above Australia. And you can show this picture. I've got a picture of my husband standing next to our luggage. I thought this would be fun. You can just kind of see, like, we put our whole life, there it is. We put our whole life in these 9 containers. So these are like these 6 Rubbermaid type containers and then 3 duffel bags. And that was it. And so we paid the $8,000 in airfare to fly our whole family overseas. And this place that we moved to has over 800 different tribal people groups. And so my husband and me and our 2 little kids, we had a 5-year-old daughter at the time and a 2-year-old son, all flew overseas to begin this amazing adventure of tribal church planting. So we arrived on January 6, 2019, and we hit the ground running. So over the next 14 months, a little over a year, we lived there and we developed the deepest, sweetest relationships with different nationals or citizens of Papua New Guinea. And they taught us about cooking and culture, and we learned their national language to where we were able to discuss deep issues of the heart together as friends. And a tribe adopted us, and we felt like we were really off to an amazing start for our life and our ministry. But in March of 2020, that all changed. So who remembers what happened in March of 2020? That's right, COVID entered the scene. So I remember we were living in a missions community in March 2020, and I kept getting emails from our missions doctors who lived nearby saying, hey, everybody living in this missions community, there's something really big hitting the world, and it's called coronavirus. If you have any respiratory issues or underlying health issues, we would recommend you leave PNG, which is short for Papua New Guinea, in return. After everybody then was saying, after this coronavirus thing blows over, we thought it might be like a 3-month thing. So then every day we'd get at least one email like that from the doctors. And then one of their emails had such a strongly worded warning, finally, that it forced me to really stop and think. They said, to be clear, our clinic only has 2 oxygen masks, and they're both adult sized. So if more than 2 people at a time need oxygen, we will not be able to help you. So it occurred to me, by God's grace, that, oh yeah, our son, who was now 3 at the time, had reactive airway disease or childhood asthma. So I emailed them back and I said, do you think our son's asthma counts as one of those reasons to maybe go home for a little while? And they responded with a super fast email that said, yes, you're exactly the type of family we're talking about. Please go home immediately if you can, and we'll be in touch throughout the pandemic about when might be safe for you to return. So this was March of 2020, and it was super chaotic. Our travel agent got us tickets that had us flying out the very next day. And he warned us that international travel was going to be super tricky because countries were closing their borders and airlines were shutting down because everyone wanted to keep themselves safe from COVID. We had to completely pack up our home, and we had to spend 15 hours just that day packing up everything and washing and scrubbing everything, doing all the things necessary for international travel. And we left the very next morning. So we had 24 hours from hearing, you should really go, to leaving the country. And it was a fairly crazy journey home. So like our travel agent had warned, immigrations and airlines and countries were all closing their borders. We were told we were either going to be put out on the streets in Singapore and not given a flight because immigrations was not going to let us through. Or what I realized now was probably going to happen was we were going to be sent to immigration jail when finally a flight opened up at the last second and we put $17,000 on credit cards just to get that flight because prices were just exploding. So once we arrived home, again, this is March 2020, after we quarantined, we decided to put our son in speech therapy because he seems behind. And after a few months of testing, it turns out that he is moderately autistic. And so he's not high functioning, he's not low functioning, he's like right in the middle. But that autism diagnosis just ended our missions career. So the doctors overseas said that they could not let us return with Miles. Miles is our son. Miles's receptive speech being so low. He had the lowest possible scores you could get on understanding language that was spoken to you. Like he just didn't even understand. When we would offer him a drink option, he just stared at us. And he had a bunch of other complicated health issues as a part of his diagnosis. And so we had to agree that the Lord was just shutting the door and ending what had been a 10-year dream for us. So guys, this is where it starts to build towards Plexus. When we found out in 2020 that we could not return to Papua New Guinea, we were not only devastated, but now we were very scared about the future financially. Where would my husband work? That was the big question because his whole resume was geared towards missions and ministry, and there were no ministry positions locally that were a good fit for him. So our mission agency said that they could let him work remotely for a while. So that was 40 hours a week. My husband worked for them remotely, doing accounting type of work with no prior experience in accounting. But he also knew he needed to be getting a local job and working his way up there because we knew this missions job, this remote work was not going to last forever. So he also got an additional full-time job at a local bank. And he started going back to college because he hadn't finished his bachelor's before we went overseas. So there we were, me with our 2 kids at home and my husband working 80 hours a week while going back to college remotely as well. So there were a few times that we thought he was having a heart attack from stress, and one time that he did go to the ER for that. And I was super stressed too, just trying to navigate the special needs world with our newly diagnosed autistic son, who was 4 at this point, and enter Plexus at this point. So I had a friend who cared enough about me to reach out about the business. She saw what had happened and that we weren't able to go back. And she was reading between the lines and she was like, they are in financial trouble. So what I forgot to mention earlier is I had done Plexus, but Rachel mentioned it. I had done Plexus since 2016. And actually back then I was trying to work the business for a little bit, but it was all just like fun money back then. So when I got really busy with our missions training, I just didn't have a strong enough why. So I just quit when my life got busy. So when this friend, Amanda McMaster, reached out to me in 2020, I knew I already loved Plexus products because I never stopped taking them throughout the years. And she was like, this business is like the financial opportunity you're looking for, I promise. And I was like, maybe, okay, I'll think about it. So guys, listen to this. Okay, I piddled around with the business from 2020 to 2022. I didn't even go silver until like March of last year, like 2022. So I would make a post and I didn't put any time into it. And I made a lot of excuses and I didn't really go to Zooms all the time. And I just wasn't consistently showing up for my business because my heart really wasn't in it. And in the fall of 2021, we hit rock bottom with our finances from having to rebuy everything. We didn't own hardly anything when we came back from the States. And some of our luggage got lost, even what little we brought back. So we hit rock bottom with our finances and we chose to move in to live with friends of ours in their home. So then depression and shame and embarrassment and unprocessed grief was just thick in the air of our family and our home. But in the spring of 2022, after a coaching session with my upline, I decided I would go ahead and go to this convention thing that I had heard so much about. She'd been inviting me for years and I kept turning her down because like, who's got the money to do something they're not really passionate about? But I decided I would try it. So As of March of last year, I paid for my convention registration and also bought plane tickets for Columbus, Ohio with our tax refund. But wait, guess what I did? So I bought those tickets in March. Guess what I did at the beginning of May? So right before convention would happen in June, this is last year's May, I decided, who am I to take like over $1,000 away from my family right now to go to a convention and pay for airfare and like the convention ticket price and hotel and food and all these things. Like we live with another family. We live in a basement. Like this is not a good use of our money. And I decided to cancel my convention plans. So this was last May. I emailed Plexus Events and I got my refund for convention. And I went through the long and hard process of getting the refund for my airfare, which was $400 as well. Now, I had been in a group chat with some of the ladies who were all going to convention. We were talking about who's going to room with who. And none of them I knew personally. And I shot that messenger group a quick message and I said, hey, ladies, I'm backing out of convention. Something came up. Sorry, have fun without me though. And I thought, okay, that'll be the end of that. But one of the ladies in that group private messaged me, and you guys know her, it's Dawn Warren. I didn't know her. She private messaged me something like, oh, friend, I'm so sorry to hear you won't be able to go. I was so looking forward to meeting you. I hope everything is okay. And for some reason, her message just really made me feel really seen and really cared about. And it was like just a taste of this community. And it was so sweet because when we had left our life overseas, we had not only left almost all of our possessions, so I'm talking like hard drives with our baby's photos on them, and clothes, and our toys, kids, and a pet, and furniture, because we thought we were coming back one day. So we not only left almost all of our possessions, but we had also left deep relationships, Papua New Guinea friendships that we will never be able to check in with because the tribal nationals over there don't tend to have reliable phones. We would never be as deep with our missions friendships because we're no longer in the mission. And also we didn't jump right back into our church relationships here in the States because we hadn't really been regularly attending for like a decade due to our missions training taking us all over the country. So we really didn't have many friendships at all in our church either. I was in a season where I was drowning in stress and drowning in money woes and at the loneliest point of my life last May because all my relationships were so scattered throughout the world and I wasn't doing life with any community anymore. I had no goals except just to parent my kids and feed them dinner, which is great, but can feel really lonely. I did not have a tribe with anybody. So after that Plexus sweet girl sent Dawn, that sweet friend, sent me that message to check in on me and tell me she'd been looking forward to meeting me, I was in the bathroom that night, washing my face and getting ready for bed, and I just couldn't take my grief anymore. I sat down on the bathroom floor and I leaned my back on the door and I pulled up a blank notepad on my phone and I started making a list of who my friends were. And honestly, while I had a ton of Facebook friends and acquaintances, I was defining friend in that moment as who could I call or text if something really awesome or really awful happened in my life today? Like, who could I actually talk to? Who is that kind of friend? And I could honestly only put one name on the list, and it's the lady that we lived with. Like, remember, we were and we still are in a basement suite with our friends who live upstairs. And her name was the only name I had. And I thought, does she even count? Like, would we even be friends if we didn't live together? And I just cried and I cried sitting on the bathroom floor. And I remember I really feel like it was the Lord that brought convention back to the forefront of my mind. So I got up and I walked into the bedroom and I sat on the bed with my husband. My husband's sitting on the bed, like looking at his phone, waiting for me to wash my face, not knowing I'm like crying in the bathroom. And I sat down and I said, Hun, I know this is crazy. And I just went through all the work of getting refunds for convention. But if it's not too late, I remember saying these exact words, would it be too pitiful for me to go just to make friends? And I was like, crying. And my husband was like, whoa, like, what is going on? And he was so encouraging. And he was like, Hun, that's a great reason to go. Don't worry about the finances. Like, we'll make it work. Just go. If you can still go, just go to make friends. So I prayed about it and I went to sleep. And the next morning I woke up and I was like, I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to be a crazy lady and I'm just going to go. I'm going to be a lady and they're all going to wear pink and they're all going to talk about plexus. And I just want to make friends and I'm going to go. So I rebooked everything. And this was mid-May, right before registration closed, when I had just booked my, oh, and I rebooked my plane tickets, right? So I bought plane tickets again. And this time they were $600. So they were $200 more than the plane tickets I just canceled like a few days ago. But I didn't care. I was going for the community. And guys, when I went, it was phenomenal. Your upline cannot even begin to put into words how fantastic this event is. First, I was greeted by my sponsor with a big hug and her other level ones who came. And we all got into our rooms and we went to eat dinner all together. And it was so fun. Like I was actually having deep talks with other ladies about their lives and their families and their problems. And it was so life-giving to me. And then the convention itself is lights and music and dancing and laughing and eating and learning together and like even dressing up cute and staying up late talking. And it was just like this 3 or 4 day slumber party with other grown women. It was the biggest encouragement the Lord could have possibly blessed me with at that time. And I remember the last night I found Melissa Eichenhorst and Rachel Hofsteth. I like looked for them in the middle of this silent disco party and I found them and I said, listen, I don't even know if you know me at all. You probably don't, but I'm in your downline. And I just want to tell you, convention changed my life. And I'm jumping into this business with my whole heart. So that, and then I was like, can I take a picture with you? So there they are, graciously taking a picture with me. And here, like seeing the jewels on stage, getting their jewel and their recognition, it was life-changing for me, because to see these people up close and to realize I look like them and they like it made it so possible to see people that maybe I was just talking to in the aisle and now they're going up to receive a huge award and recognition. And it was totally life-changing for me, guys. So that was the end of last June. And remember, I was technically silver, but I don't even think I was ranking silver every month because I wasn't pouring into my customers at all. And then by the end of July, so 1 month after convention, I hit gold. So guys, I left convention with such an energy and feeling so loved by the community. And like I had life breathed back into me with all the encouragement from everyone. And I just hit the ground running and I haven't stopped since. As of last month, I had my first ambassador under me go gold and another hit senior silver and another hit silver. And I'm senior gold now. And I am not stopping until diamond. I have a goal to get to the Emerald Extravaganza by July 2024, if not July of this year. And I am just a living testimony to the fact that this compensation plan works and this community can be life-changing. But guys, I would be in the exact same place if I hadn't gone to convention. Today, I would just be lonely and lacking community and lacking friendships and just as broke. But as of right now, I'm adding over $1,000 a month to our family's income. And once I'm Emerald, we are moving out and buying a house. So that's our plan. And just a side note, we're working with a Dave Ramsey financial planner. And she said in December, she said, Plexus is the answer to your money problems. Just work that as hard as you can. So guys, believe me. Oh yeah, I want to talk about that too. Look at that, guys. Look, my husband loves bar graphs. And he made this bar graph. He's like totally opposite of me. I'm like, who could actually enjoy bar graphs? But he's like, hun, I want to show you what your income looks like after convention. So you see like February and March and April. I remember Amanda threw me a party in April. So I like made some money then. I just invited people. May and June, like that's all pre-convention. I'm like basically not working the business. And then look at July, like that is my first month back from convention. And then August, September, October, November was explosive, and December. And if January was up there, it would be somewhere right between October and November's line. So guys, believe me when I say, and when you hear people say leaders are born at events, tell yourself that you are going to get at least one of your friends or one of your downline to go to convention with you. And it has the potential to boost your business like nothing else. And it's not just because of hype and encouragement. It's because of the practical training you're going to get there too. And the fact that your social media audience is watching you, when they see you go to convention, they will absolutely go, wow, she's like the real deal. She's serious about this. I had so many people tell me that was why they bought from me, because they saw this was not some hobby for me and I took it seriously. And these friendships on the team are the friendships that I longed for. When I have something going on in my life, I have friends now to message with my good news and my bad news and my prayer requests and my celebrations. And I'm regularly sending voice memos to my sidelines, like my uplines level ones, and my downline and my upline. And I feel like our values are the same and we're all in the trenches together and we're growing in the same ways. And my life has been changed for the better because of putting forth the effort to dive into those relationships by going to convention. So I want to close with a couple thoughts. Well, first, I want to tell you how my family's doing, so you don't worry about us. But as far as our family goes, our son is thriving because we worked on his gut health. And now he's speaking, like he's having back and forth communications. He was in a neurotypical classroom last year. Like he's doing phenomenally because we worked on his gut health and did some different therapies with him. And like Rachel said, I'm almost finished with a certification in functional nutrition counseling. And I mean, it has only built my belief in these products. And so I'm able to utilize my certification to better serve my Plexus customers. And my husband was able now to quit one of his jobs and he finished his degree. So now he's just working 40 hours a week and he's been promoted to a management position and he's starting his master's next month, like just for fun. So I want to close with something my husband shared with me because this new line of work is super fascinating, guys. Like I just am so confident this is going to be really intriguing to you because it was fascinating to me. So his new line of work is about ensuring a positive customer experience and employee experience with any given business. So he told me that there's this thing called organizational commitment. And he tells me over and over, he was like, man, Plexus has this effective commitment in their company. I don't know what they do, like what they're doing for you guys. And I was like, what is effective commitment? What are you even talking about? So he said, okay, there's 3 types of organizational commitment. And this is an individual's psychological attachment to their organization. So organizational commitment answers the question, why is this worker staying with this company? So here's the 3 types of organizational commitment. Number 1, continuous. So this is when somebody stays with their company just because it would cost the employee more to leave the company, where they think, well, there's nothing better for me out there. Have you heard that saying, like the devil you know is better than the devil you don't know? Like I could apply for that job, but who knows, it could be worse than the one I have. So we all know somebody who feels that way toward their jobs. And then normative commitment is where the employee has a sense of loyalty and like an indebtedness with their company. Like, well, this company has done so much for me. I don't want to leave them. It would put them in a bad spot, or they helped me when I was at my most needy, so I owe them to stay. But the best type of organizational commitment, which is the one that I believe convention brings about in its people, is the third, which is that effective commitment. So effective, I want you to think of the word affections. So this is when a person has an emotional connection with their organization, like, I love this company, or I totally agree with their values. So evidence of effective commitment can be, here's the list my husband gave me, and I was like, yes. So someone is happy to stay with their organization. They love talking about their company and its products. They feel the organization's issues are their own. They feel they're a part of a family and they're emotionally attached to their organization and they feel a strong sense of belonging to that organization. And that is what makes Plexus so different from other companies. Convention plays a huge part in bringing about that effective commitment in its people. Being at like that final party night where it was like all you could eat chocolate and churros and treats, and they had a live band over here and a silent disco party over here, and the president and CEO of the company letting you walk right up to him to visit with him, and you get this free backpack and all these samples and handouts. Just the ways that they make you feel so valued and you dive into that community, like you can't get that from across a computer screen. Trust me, I tried for 2 years from 2020 to 2022 of just casually attending team meetings and Zooms. But going to convention will give you that sense of inclusion and empowerment and significance and support like this meaningfulness where you just feel like this organization actually cares about my well-being. Like they really think about me when they make this compensation plan. So I finally felt at convention like this is a company whose values I can get behind. And now I'm looking forward to Nashville. Like I look forward to Christmas. I probably shouldn't say this, but we asked our family to rearrange our family reunion because I'm going to convention. I was like, guys, I'm not missing convention. So I want to end with these last few thoughts. I know we're supposed to wrap up at 8. I was just telling my downline team a few days ago, I was like, listen, guys, listen, don't wait until you're confident to make a post about Plexus, right? Do it scared. I told them they'll gain confidence as they post about Plexus because people are going to like and comment on their posts, and that will grow them in their confidence. Just do it scared. Just jump in and you'll gain confidence. So I was thinking about that principle, and I think that same principle applies here. Don't wait to go to convention until you feel like you have the passion to go. You will never get the passion by sitting on your couch, occasionally going to team Zooms. You've got to decide to go before you feel pumped about it, trusting that Plexus knows what it's doing with its live events, and trusting your upline's word, and trusting that you will catch the vision at convention. So go scared. It's okay to go unmotivated, and trust that you'll be so thankful that you went after the fact. As well as don't wait to go until you feel like you have a surplus of funds to go. Do whatever it takes financially to make this trip happen. Like I said, we were committed to going when my husband was still working 2 jobs and we lived in a basement. Guys, it's because you don't have a lot of money that you should go. Don't wait until you have the money. Go when you don't, because you're going to learn how to boost your business like never before at this convention. So, okay, you've heard the saying, dress for the job you want and not the job you have. Well, in the network marketing world, it really doesn't matter how we dress because we work from our phones. So here's what I turned that into for myself. I turned it into work like the rank you want and not the rank you have. Show up like a diamond. Put forth effort like a diamond. Like if you're thinking, man, I would really love to be a jewel one day. Convention is a non-negotiable for a jewel. Like diamonds are not letting January, February roll around and going, oh, you know what? My company's convention's coming up. I don't know if I'll go to that. Maybe. I mean, there's nothing else is going on. No, a jewel is prioritizing this event for the health of their business. So tell yourself, I would encourage you to tell yourself, start taking yourself seriously and just go to this event because it is going to have a huge return on your investment and you're going to have a great time. So anyway, thank you guys so much for listening to me. And I hope you feel a little more encouraged to consider doing whatever it takes to get to convention. And if you feel like this video would be helpful with your downline, even though I had a totally crazy glitchy face, like feel free to share it with them. Because guys, like I'm going this year and I'm bringing 3 people in my downline and their spouses. Like their spouses are coming too. And now my husband is coming because he's like, I don't know what is happening at convention, but it like changed your life. So definitely go. You won't regret it. You'll leave encouraged, built up, and more motivated than ever to rock your business. So thanks, friends.
Well, thank you so much, Candice. Everything you said was so true and so like heartfelt. And there's parts of your story that I didn't know before that I know now. And I'm just so, so grateful that you shared your story with us. And I there's nothing, you said it perfectly, absolutely perfectly. And I'm like even that much more excited because I want to spend more time with you than just like a quick, like, let's dance and take a picture. So definitely going to give you a big hug when I see you in Nashville. And I hope to see everybody there. And I know that this is just going to really encourage a lot of people to get there. So again,
Yay.
I really appreciate you jumping on here and sharing. And cannot wait to get this recording into everybody's hands because it's a must listen to. So thank you guys. I'm going to let you guys go. But again, thank you for joining tonight. And let's all go to Nashville. Bye, guys.
Thanks.